All right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to today's episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And I'm really grateful to be here with each of you. Today we're going to be talking about Trump's newest crackdown against immigrants and against immigration cases. And really what I'm sharing is a new form of travel ban that we have not yet seen before. All right, so I want to share this. The bad news, I feel, just keeps on coming in, right? But it's important that we share it, and it's important that we discuss it, and it's important that, that we know how to strategize around it when possible. Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to today's episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? Today, our theme is Trump's newest crackdown against immigration cases. And so we'll talk about that. And as I'm talking about it, if you have questions, feel free to submit your questions. I'll do my best to answer them right here, right now, live. Okay? And as always, I ask the question, do you want to get a green card? Do you want to win citizenship? Do you want to apply for a U visa or VAWA or some kind of immigration option? Do you want to at least know what the best option for you might be or what the best solution might be for your immigration situation? Because if so, go for it. And I'd love to help you with that in whatever way might make sense for you. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 immigration cases in the next 10 years. We would love for your case to be one of them. Okay? So thanks for being here. Before I get into today's topic, I want to just repeat the topic that I shared on Tuesday of this week, because I had some good news. I like to share some good news that's out there. And there was big news, good news for immigrant detainees. All right, so I talked about this on Tuesday, but the big news is that a federal judge has certified a class action lawsuit for all immigrants who entered the U.S. without inspection who are detained, saying that as long as they're not subject to some of the other provisions of quote-unquote mandatory detention, as long as there are no serious criminal records or as long as they weren't detained when they were crossing the border and put into expedited removal proceedings, as long as they're not in those like smaller buckets, the vast majority of people who entered without inspection are eligible for bond hearings to at least request a bond to be released from detention so that they can be home with their families. Okay? So that's a big and very good development that has happened in detention space. The problem, as I discussed on Tuesday also, is that immigration judges appear not to be following through with that new ruling yet. So we'll continue to monitor that. That's going to be an issue. But if you know anybody who's detained by ICE right now, there's more than 64,000 immigrants are right now detained by ICE. And they might have stronger arguments right now than they did even a couple weeks ago because of this latest case. Not all of them will, but some people will. All right? And so, so I wanted to share that. All right, so now I want to talk about this newest crackdown. All right, this newest crackdown. So the news that everybody saw in the headlines was that, members of the National Guard were shot and killed by an immigrant in Washington, D.C., and the Trump administration is using that as its new excuse for the government to crack down increasingly on immigration cases. All right, and so here's what we're saying. What we're seeing, the big headlines here are that all asylum applications that are pending are paused. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter what the argument was all affirmative asylum applications that are currently pending are paused. They will not be adjudicated fully. They're paused. All right, there's like a moratorium right now on asylum cases. The second thing that has happened is all applications, not just asylum, we're talking green cards, we're talking all applications for people from certain countries are going to be paused for the foreseeable future. Okay? And so that is, which countries are we talking about? We're talking 19 countries, the countries that were on the quote-unquote travel ban that was announced earlier this year. And what applications? Again, all applications. We're talking green card applications, visa applications, citizenship applications, petitions, you name it, they are all going to be paused for people from 19 countries. We have a case where we went to an interview 2 weeks ago. The client was approved to become a brand new citizen, and she was scheduled for an oath ceremony for next week. All right, because her case is fully reviewed, fully approved. She's eligible to become a citizen. But, all right, as you're aware, for citizenship, the final step is you have to be quote-unquote sworn in at that oath ceremony. And 2 days ago, we received a notice saying that her oath ceremony has been canceled until further notice because of this issue. All right, so this is going to affect thousands of people. All right? And so what are those 19 countries that are on the current travel ban? I'll read them all right now. But even if you're not from any of these countries, you've got to be aware and you've got to be mindful, because there are rumors that the government wants to expand this list to include more countries. All right, so what are the 19 countries currently on the travel ban? They are Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. All right? And I think that's the full list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, that's 12. Okay, sorry. Let me continue reading here. There's additional restrictions for people from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. There's the 19. Okay? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah. Okay, just making sure I got them all. All right. So, and again, if you are from a country that is not on that list, then still be mindful about this issue, all right? The government wants to expand this list. I was reading a quote that Secretary Noem put, Secretary of Homeland Security, Noem put on her Twitter feed. All right, I'm going to read it to you right now. Ready for this? She says, I just met with the president. I'm recommending a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Our forefathers built this nation on blood, sweat, and the unyielding love of freedom, not for foreign invaders to slaughter our heroes, suck dry our hard-earned tax dollars, or snatch the benefits owed to Americans. We don't want them, not one. Okay? So that was on our current Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Noem's Twitter feed. And it's just like, for me, that's ugly. It's just ugly. Like, okay, Secretary Noem, name one country on planet Earth that has, quote unquote, flooded our nation with killers, leeches, or entitlement junkies. Name one. All right? Do you even know immigrants? Have you ever, like, actually spoken with an immigrant from another country? Right? The vast majority of immigrants who are in the United States are amazing human beings. Like, wake up! The people, like, if you want to know, the immigrant community is less likely to be a quote-unquote killer, a quote-unquote leech, or a quote-unquote entitlement junkie than U.S. citizens are. Look at the statistics. It really is aggravating. All right? It's really aggravating to just read and review nonsense that's coming out of our political leadership. But you got to know it's there, right? How do we change the mindset of leaders that are in politics? It might be impossible. It might be impossible if they don't open their eyes. I think that the way might be to take the complete opposite approach, all right, and have millions of people continue to shine their light, even in the face of this type of insult. Continue to shine your light. Continue to be, hardworking and humble and helpful and joyous and a contribution and empower society and make communities better. And if enough people do that, it's like eventually people will start to clue into the fact that, wait a second, that those types of messages, they're not actually accurate. They're not actually true. And hopefully it causes at least some people to start to notice that, our current administration's view of what people are like from other places, it's not right. It's not accurate. It's not honest. It's not true. It's like, it's ugly. And then going into the polls and voting with that knowledge will cause change. And I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful for that. Anyway, I'm going off script a little bit right now. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope this is useful. I hope it's helpful. What questions do you have? All right, what questions do you have? Submit your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, my name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And, I'm here to help. I'd love to help if you have a situation that I can help you with. All right? What's the best advice with all of this? If your case is actually affected by all of this, right? Like, don't go through it alone. Get support. Get a team behind you, right? If you really have questions about how this will affect you, feel free to schedule a consultation. Let's look at it. Okay? So, anyway, that's what I wanted to share today. Let me get into your questions, and I'll do my best here. Bear with me. Here we go. All right, Myra, I see your question here. Anything new with DACA? Nothing super new. Nothing super new. There's a proposed settlement that was submitted back in October, and we're waiting and counting down the days. We don't know exactly when it'll come out, but we're waiting for a decision on this new proposed settlement that would potentially reopen DACA for states that are not the state of Texas. All right, that's what this new proposed settlement says. I did a video about it where I go through the details. You can check that out on our YouTube page. And when there really is an answer to that question, I'll definitely be talking about that. I plan on hosting a webinar for all potential DACA recipients, right? All current and potential DACA recipients once we know what to say about it, all right? So stay tuned for that. If anybody's watching that's in that situation, feel free to like, subscribe, follow our content, because then you can receive notifications in the future when those announcements actually are made. Okay? Let's see. So the next question here is from God Love Family. Thank you for being here. You say, good day. I'm originally from the Republic of the Congo. All right, and I have a pending asylum case, and I've applied for an EAD. Is that ban applied to? Yes, it is. All right, yes, it is. All applications will be paused. Really, really sorry about it. Yes, it will be paused. All right, we don't know for how long. But we have heard rumors that there will be additional vetting in place, supervisory reviews in place, etc. So yes. All right. Let's see, D4NIL503, you say, good morning. How long is it taking to adjust status through the U visa? So, I was going to say 7 months. It's hard to say. I don't know off the top of my head. How long our most recent U visa adjustments have taken. They've been going faster than I expected them to go. Normally, what I would say for an adjustment is somewhere between 7 months to, a year or so. But we have seen some adjustments go relatively quickly. All right, and so anyway, hopefully that's helpful enough. It'll also depend on which field office you're in, where in the country you're in, etc. Because different field offices do have different processing times. But and it'll also depend on which country you're from now that there's this travel ban in place, because they will not be adjudicating green cards even through the U visa for people from those countries. All right, let's see. User 998, you say, if a DACA renewal took a month to be approved before the last expired effects. I'm missing what your question is. Maybe you asked it in a different one. I can't follow all of them. You said, if a DACA renewal took a month to be approved before the last expired, what are the effects, maybe? Yeah, there shouldn't be any, right? If your DACA was renewed, then good. You should be okay. If you're asking, was there any unlawful presence there? Well, if it was approved before your last one expired, then you should be okay. If I'm reading this question correctly, I think you should be okay, and there shouldn't be any effect. Okay? All right, so Ra-O 2020, you say, how likely will this pause be struck down, especially for spouses of banned countries? How likely will this pause be struck down? I don't know. Good question. It's hard for me to say about that, It's hard for me to give an opinion about that because the travel ban has not been struck down. All right, and so it's like, how likely is it to be struck down? Yeah, I don't have a good opinion about it, right? In fact, I would say err on the side of it not being struck down. I think that the way that it'll be addressed is through political pressure. Call your congressperson, right? Call your congressperson, call your representative, let people know that this is unjust, because it is, right? Okay, Jesus Sandoval, with the U visa, how long does the work temporary permit take to come in the mail? If you have applied for a U visa and you're waiting for the bona fide determination on the U visa, that can take quite a long time, right? Depending on several factors, it can sometimes take several years. Once the approval notice of the temporary work permit comes through, then how long does it take to be mailed to you? You know, good question. A couple days, about a week, right? And so, but the long wait isn't for the mail to happen. The long wait is for the bona fide determination process to happen. And we have had some cases where it goes relatively quickly, all right, 4 or 5 months. But we've also seen cases where it takes over 3 years to get the bona fide determination. And it's not uniform. And that's partly because of different service centers, that partly because different adjudicators or officers were assigned to those cases. You know, it could be for several different reasons. Okay? All right. Nuvecita la loca. You say, abogado, tengo visa U. Puedo trabajar en factoría de caníbal legal en California. ¿Es posible? Buena pregunta. No es buena idea. All right? You're asking, hey, I've got a U visa. Can I work in a factory that legally is involved with cannabis? Here's the thing. There are risks to being involved with cannabis if you are an immigrant in any way, shape, or form, even if it's quote-unquote legal in the state of California or in your state, because cannabis is still a narcotic and drug that is illegal for federal purposes, and federal purposes rule immigration. And so it can make you inadmissible or deportable, even if it's 100% lawful in your state. So the best advice is don't do it. All right? El mejor consejo, usted hizo su pregunta en español, el mejor consejo es que no. All right? All right. So live in style. You say for asylum applications, if we have divorced now and we have a DVRO, restraining order, does that need to be updated? If you have an asylum application, you've divorced now and you have a DV restraining order, does the asylum application need to be updated? Not because of the restraining order, but yes, because of the divorce. All right? The divorce will cause the derivative. If you have a husband-wife situation in a same asylum application, the principal applicant will still be eligible for asylum, but the divorce causes the derivative applicant to no longer be eligible as a derivative. And so if they want to be filing for asylum, they then need their own case. Okay? That needs to be, you need to talk that through with your lawyer, and the lawyer might need to conflict out if there's a conflict of interest between two clients, but they should at least point people in the direction and give people advice, right? Hey, we need a separate application filed for the person who was listed as a derivative. Okay. J1, you say, is the pause legal? You know, I mean, people will try to fight and to argue that it's not. People will try to fight and argue that it's not, right? The government is supposed to adjudicate services. USCIS is tasked with adjudicating services for people who have applied for those services. Congress has passed laws so that people can request various petitions and asylum applications. They're all laws passed by Congress. So stopping those laws in one argument is that no, it's not legal. All right? But the other argument in this instance is that, well, if it's for national security, it's under the Department of Homeland Security, which is, gives the executive branch has broad powers under that. And so it's like, well, is it legal? Is it not? I think that it's going to be difficult to say that it's not legal. I think the better challenge is it's not wise, it's not just, it's not fair, it's not good. And we need to send political pressure through our congressional representatives to get them to change it. Otherwise, they probably won't change it. Okay? All right. Live in style. Will the updating divorce make the case go behind for the pending asylum? No, not unless you notify them about it. They won't even notice. So it won't cause anything to it. What you'll need to do is submit anyway, I recommend talking it through with a lawyer. I recommend especially for the person who is the derivative, who's not the principal applicant. So if you are, for example, the derivative, you're the spouse who's not the main applicant for your case, you should talk to a lawyer urgently. Okay? All right, N. Rod, you say, for those countries, does the U.S. allow petitions for multiple wives? No. All right, polygamy, quote unquote, multiple wives, is an inadmissibility issue, right? You cannot. Like, polygamy is not allowed in the United States, so it's not, no, you can't do that. Sorry, if your question is like one petition for one wife, and then you're living together, and then everything goes well, but then you divorce, and now something happened to that marriage, and now you want to fall in love and start, and it's not polygamy. If that's your question, and it's like a subsequent petition for a subsequent wife, yeah, that's certainly legal, right? That happens all the time, right? But so I guess it depends on what your precise question was. All right, but if it's like allow a petition for multiple wives at the same time, no, that's illegal. Okay. Live in style. Will updating divorce make the case go behind? Oh yeah, I just answered that. No, it won't. But get good advice for the person who is the derivative on that case. J1, can they pause naturalization N400? Yes, they have. They have. It's already happened, right? Sunny in Town 1, and only for people from those 19 countries, right? I have a client who won their naturalization case, but still got it paused before she could be, quote unquote, sworn in, right? Why? Because she was from one of those countries. She was from Yemen, all right? So there you go. It's happening. And we have clients from several of those countries. Not all 19 of them, but we have clients from several of those countries. And they're good people, folks. All right? And now they are very, very anxious because of this finding and decision by the powers that be. And for me, it's like, why are we doing this? All right. So the chosen one. I see your comment here. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call coming in. All right. So the chosen one, I see you say, can this administration take away citizenship from naturalized citizens after the tragedy in D.C.? So that's an interesting question. So this administration is going to start looking for how to denaturalize certain people, but that is separate from this issue in D.C. All right, that is not to be conflated with this issue in D.C. Perhaps they will do additional vetting for people from those 19 countries who have naturalized as citizens, but denaturalization laws and processes are pretty clear in the law, right? They can't just denaturalize somebody. It is a serious process. To do that, they have to file a complaint in federal court. They have to sue the person in federal court to try to take away their citizenship. It is not just automatic that the government can take away somebody's citizenship case. All right? And so, but they will try to do that in certain instances. They've said it over and over again that they're going to, go through old citizenship cases and see where they can file denaturalization proceedings. Be mindful of that. Be especially cautious or mindful of that if you believe or if you have any reason to believe that there was fraud or a misrepresentation when you got your citizenship, right? So that's the big issue that causes a risk of denaturalization. It's not really tied to, it's not directly tied, I should say, to what's happening in D.C. All right, a lot of questions today. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking those questions. Ooh, I see a new one came in here on TikTok. Go get a Webby. You say, I heard, thank you for being here. I heard adjustment of status people are something arrested for overstaying a visa. Does that apply to the I-751? Thank you for asking this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking this. So, yeah, the reality is that people who are going to interviews with USCIS right now are at higher risk of being arrested than we've ever seen in the past. Okay, like there is a higher risk. And in my office, we're seeing that especially in San Diego. We're seeing that in San Francisco. We're seeing that in multiple field offices in California. I see that particularly because I'm located in the state of California. But I understand that that is true in other places also. All right? And so if you're going to, if you're going to a USCIS interview, don't go alone. All right? Go with an attorney who knows what to do, who knows how to handle complex situations, who could potentially file a habeas for you if you were detained, especially if you were unlawfully detained, who could potentially, help defend you in immigration court if you needed that. All right? And hopefully make sure that you're preparing everything, that everything was done correctly and well. What we know and what we have heard from the San Francisco field office is as long as the case is done well and as long as it can be approved when you go into your interview, then you should be okay. All right? But if it's not that situation where they can't approve it right then, when they have doubt, that's when they are detaining people if those people don't otherwise have immigration status. So that's the risk, right? The risk is going up. That is the way it is. Okay. Let's see. You go get a Webby. You said you didn't answer the question. Why didn't I? I heard adjustment of status people are getting arrested for overstaying a visa. Does that apply to the I-751? I see what you're saying. Does that apply to the I-751? Good question, actually. I don't think it should, because the I-751, you have a green card. All right, so thank you for asking, and thank you for really coming back and having me clarify that. If you have an I-751, you already have conditional or permanent residence status, so you're asking to remove the conditions. You'd have to, like if you're asking me, should we go to the interview, we would need to do a consult. We would need to review your whole application, and we would need to give you that legal advice. All right? If you're asking me generally, could USCIS arrest somebody who overstayed their visa but then got a green card and is going through the I-751 process? If they are going to deny your I-751 and put you into removal proceedings, then you could be arrested. You could be at risk there. But if you overstayed your visa, that's not the issue anymore. They've already given you a green card. So your risk should be lower. This is my opinion. This is my best ability to answer your question, all right? If you forget overstaying the visa as the issue is, are you eligible to win your I-751? Or are they going to deny it and put you in immigration court? If you're still married, if you have a strong I-751 filing, then in my opinion, your risk is very, very low. Okay? If you have separated and there's a serious problem in your I-751, your risk is higher. And that's it. All right? That's it. I do not know of any, let me answer it also this way. I do not know of any person with an I-751 who has been arrested. We have had I-751 interviews. They have been approved, all right? In the last, we haven't had that many, maybe 4 in the last 6 months. They've been approved with no issue. Have we had any last week or the week before? I'd have to confirm with my team. I don't believe so. All right, and so I have not heard of any I-751s being arrested in the San Francisco field office. We definitely have not had that situation in my firm. But if you want specific advice about your specific situation, feel free to schedule a consult, and we could get you that advice. Okay? The chosen one, you say, can a naturalized citizen be denied reentry if they were born in one of those banned countries? No. All right? The travel bans as written have exemptions for naturalized citizens and even also green card holders. All right? And those are still true. Yes, they will give you a hard time, perhaps a harder time than normal in the airport, but you should not be denied reentry. Okay? Very good. Very good. Hey, thank you all so much for being here. All right? Thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for the engagement. I really appreciate it. I hope this content was useful and helpful. I hope it is. I hope it's useful and helpful. And if it was useful and helpful, hey, do me a favor. Please give me a like or a heart or share it with somebody that might find it useful. Or if you really want more of this content, please go to our channel in YouTube and hit the subscribe button. All right? We love our subscribers, and we'd love to have you subscribe and be one of them. When you're there, if you also hit the notification bell, you can be notified whenever we upload an additional video with news, with updates, things of that nature, so that you can stay informed. Okay? And as always, if you have an immigration case or a situation that you'd like to discuss, feel free to give us a call, all right, and schedule a consultation. We're here to help. We'd love to help. In fact, we're offering a $100 discount off of our consultation price during the holidays, during the month of December. So feel free to call us. Tell us when you call, say, hey, I heard you on YouTube, and I understand you've got a $100 discount for the holiday season for the month of December, so I'd like to take advantage of that, and then we will honor that. Okay? So another quick announcement I wanted to share. Next Friday, December 12th, our office is hosting a lunch for immigrant business owners who are in the community. So if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, if you want to learn more about that, please get in touch with my firm, and we can get you information about that. Okay? If you own your own business, yeah, we'd love to support you in that. So wonderful. All right, that's all I got here for today. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate each of you. Best of luck with everything that you're doing. Make it a great day today. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And we'll see you next time on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.